Curie projects. This is the second part of Technician B Electronics 2019 June VSSC exam. So from up to 25 questions we have solved. So the next question is 26. Which which one of the following is not a conformal coating material? Option A, silicon resin. Option B, polyparaxylene. Option C, polyurethane resin. Option D, polytetrafluoroethylene. So if we see the four options, the silicon resin is a conformal coating material. This polyparaxylene is also known as parylene. This is also known as parylene. This is also a conformal coating material. Next is the polyurethane resin. This is also a conformal coating material. Option D, polytetrafluoroethylene or PTFE, polytetrafluoroethylene, PTFE. This is not a conformal coating material. This is actually Teflon. This is Teflon material. This Teflon is a plastic material. It's a kind of plastic material. It's used to make manufacture small products using the plastic material, which is light in weight, but it is which this is a good material, which strong material. So this is the answer is option D, polytetrafluoroethylene or PTFE or Teflon. This is not a conformal coating material. So the answer is option D, polytetrafluoroethylene, which is not a conformal coating material. Next, question number 27. Find the voltage at node A in the given ideal operational amplifier circuit. So the given op-amp circuit is an ideal one, and the circuit is such that the non-inverting terminal is connected directly to ground, and the other end and the inverting terminal to the inverting terminal 2 volt is applied through a 1 kilo ohm resistor. The question is, what is the voltage at this node? What is the voltage here? That is the question. Now for an ideal op amp, both the inputs are at the same potential. So here, this input is at ground. So this node also has to be at ground. So with the virtual ground concept, here the voltage is 0 volt. So the answer is option A, 0 volt. Question number 28. A pulse train has 200 microsecond on time and 800 microsecond off time. The duty cycle is, the question is, what is the duty cycle? So here there is a pulse train, and the on time is 200 microsecond and the off time is 800 microsecond. So duty cycle is equal to on time divided by on plus off time all multiplied by 100. This will give the percentage of the duty cycle. So which equal to, what is the on time here? Here on time is 200 microsecond divided by on time plus off time 1000 microseconds multiplied by 100. So this is equal to 200 divided by 10. So 0 cancel. So the answer is 20%. So this we pulse train with a pulse train of 200 microsecond on time and 800 microsecond off time has a duty cycle of 20%. So for question number 28, the answer is option B, 20%. Next, question number 29. Identify the circuit given below. An op-amp circuit is given and the inverting terminal is of the op-amp is connected to input signal and the non-inverting terminal is connected with 1k resistor to ground and a 1 feedback resistor from output. So this is by seeing this circuit, this is a inverting amplifier circuit. This is the feedback resistor, this is the input resistor. RF, this is the RF and this is the RF resistor, this is the RI, and the V out is given as V input multiplied by minus RF by RI. So this circuit is a inverting amplifier circuit. It's an inverting amplifier circuit. So the answer is option B. Question number 30. What is the color code for a 560 ohm plus or minus 5% resistor? So color code of a 560 ohm resistor with a plus or minus 5% tolerance. So 5% tolerance means it is represented in gold color. So the value for the color code for 5 is green and for 6 it is blue. Multiplier 10, so it is brown. So the answer is option D, green, blue, brown, gold. So we get 5, 6 multiplier 10 plus or minus 5%. So the answer is option D, green, blue, brown, gold. That is the color code for 560 ohm resistor with 5% tolerance. Question number 31. What is the decimal equivalent of hexadecimal number AB? This is the given number AB in hexadecimal. We have to convert this number to decimal. So A, A is 10 in hexadecimal. So 10 multiplied by 16 to the power 1 plus B. B is 11. 11 multiplied by 16 to the power 0, which equals 160 plus any number to the power 0 equal to 1. So 11. So the answer is 171 in decimal number. So AB to the base 16 equal to 171 to the base 10. So for question number 31, the decimal equivalent of hexadecimal number AB is option C, 171. Question number 32. What filtering function does an RC differentiator circuit performs? This RC differentiator the differentiator circuit is a high pass filter. So the answer is option C, high pass. If the question is about RC integrator, then it is a low pass filter. Integrator is a low pass filter, differentiator is a high pass filter. So the answer is here the question is what filtering function does an RC differentiator circuit perform? That is high pass filtering. Question number 33. The Boolean expression A or A complement is equal to. This question is from a direct equation. If you see the Boolean simplification formulas, this is one of the formula. Say A or A complement B equal to A or B. So the answer is option C, A or B. Question number 34. How many rows are required in the truth table of a 4 input 2 output digital circuit? So in this question, 4 inputs are there. So if you write the truth table, we will get a 16 combination. 16 combination, that is 0 0 0 0 to 1 1 1 1. That is 4 zeros. It goes up to 4 ones. So we'll get 16 combinations. So the answer is option A, 16. 16 rows of input will be there. So the answer is option A, 16. Question number 35. How many bits are needed to represent decimal numbers in the range 0 to 255? Option A, 2. Option B, 4. Option C, 6. Option D, 8. So here, see if we have 8 bits, the answer is option D, 8. Answer is option D, 8. So how answer is 8? If we have 8 bits, it is 2 to the power 8 minus 1. So many numbers we can represent. Now 2 to the power 8 is 256 minus 1. It is 255. So up to 255 we can represent. 255 we can represent using 8 bits. If you consider 4 bit, it will be 2 to the power 4 minus 1. So 16 minus 1, 15. 0 to 15 we can represent using a 4-bit number. So the bits to represent numbers in the range 0 to 255 we need 8 bits of data. 8-bit number. Question number 36. Which of the following are true for BGA or ball grid array packaging? High pin density. For a ball grid array, high pin density is true. That means so many number of pins it can accommodate. And second, low thermal resistance. This ball grid array is almost touching the PCB surface directly. So the temperature dissipation is, it will just pass the temperature from the device to the PCB. So this low thermal resistance also true statement. Next is low lead inductance. The lead length is very small, so low lead inductance is true statement. Easy solderability, but easy solderability, it cannot be soldered. This BGA cannot be soldered easily, so this is a wrong statement. So first 3 statements 1, 2 and 3 are a right statement. Now in the option A, A is saying only first statement is true. B is telling first and second statement only true. C is telling 1, 2 and 3 only. So the answer is option C. That is low thermal resistance, low load inductance, and high pin density. These are true for ball BGA, ball grid array. It is not possible to solder it easily. That is the only disadvantage of BGA. Question number 37. The soup generator of a CRO is used to produce. Option A, square wave for horizontal deflection of electron beam. Option B, square wave for vertical deflection of electron beam. Option C, sawtooth wave for horizontal deflection of electron beam. Option D, sawtooth wave for vertical deflection of electron beam. The answer is in CRO, soup is for the horizontal section. The answer is sawtooth wave for horizontal deflection of electron beam. To we apply signal to the Y plates, but the horizontal plate on the horizontal section gives the soup. That is the time scale. So the answer is option C, sawtooth wave for horizontal deflection of electron beam. So the answer is option C. Option C. Question number 38. When is the depletion region of a PN junction formed? Depletion region means there won't be any conduction between the two regions. So it happens only when the diode is reverse biased or the PN junction is reverse biased. So when is the depletion region of a PN junction formed? Option A, along with junction formation. Option B, during forward bias. Option C, during heating. Option D, during reverse bias. The answer is option B, reverse bias. Question number 39. In the emitter of a PNP transistor, the majority carriers are option A, electrons, option B, neutrons, option C, holes, option D, protons. The question is so for PNP transistor we have PNP. This is the emitter, base and collector. The question is, in the emitter of a PNP transistor, the majority carriers are emitter is a p-doped material. So majority carriers are holes. So the answer is option C, holes. Question number 40. A transistor amplifier with proper biasing has the following measured parameters. Input resistance 1 kilo ohm, output resistance 10 kilo ohm, current gain 90. Identify the biasing configuration. See now, option A, common base, option B, common emitter, option C, common collector, option D, Darlington pair. Here if we see, input resistance is 1 kilo ohm. It is not so low, not so high. It is in between. Output resistance also a moderate value, medium value, not a low value or a high value. Current gain is 90. This current gain is almost 90, which is a beta of the transistor. So this looks like a configuration of the in common emitter mode, which has got a moderate input and moderate output resistance and nearly a current gain of 100. So the answer is option B, common emitter. Next question number 41. If 3 nanoamps 3 nanoamp is the reverse current of a silicon diode at 25 degrees Celsius, what will be the typical reverse current at 45 degrees Celsius? So at 25 degrees Celsius at 25 degrees Celsius, the reverse current is 3 nanoamps. Now, what is the relation between the reverse temperature and the reverse saturation, reverse current of a diode? So whenever the current increases by 10 degrees, whenever the temperature increases by 10 degrees Celsius, the reverse current doubles. That is, we can make it as 2x. It doubles. Now here, now when the temperature becomes 35 degrees Celsius, when the temperature becomes 35 degrees Celsius, this 3 nano amps of current, reverse current, doubles. That is 6 nano amps. But the question is asking 45 degrees Celsius. What happens when it is 45 degrees Celsius? It again doubles. So it is 12 nano amps. So every 10 degrees Celsius, the reverse current of silicon diode doubles. So the answer is option D, 12 nano amps. Question number 42. What should be the turns ratio, that is primary to secondary, of an ideal transformer to connect an AC voltage source of internal impedance 120 ohm to a load of 30 ohm with maximum power transfer? So our voltage source internal impedance is 120 ohm. 120 ohm is the voltage source internal impedance, but our load is 30 ohm. Now, as for maximum power transfer, for maximum power to transfer, what is the trans ratio of the transformer used? So here we need this is here we need you have to increase 4 times, and this will be 1. So 1:4 is the trans ratio to require the power maximum, to transfer the power maximum. Now we'll see the options. So for question number 42, the answer is option A, 1:4. Question number 43. One coulomb is the charge of dash electrons. That means how many electrons gives 1 coulomb of charge? Option A, 6.25 into 10 to the power 18. Option B, 6.25 into 10 to the power 17. Option C, 6.25 multiplied by 10 to the power 16. Option D, 6.25 multiplied by 10 to the power 15. The answer is option A, 6.25 multiplied by 10 to the power 18 electrons. So many number of 6.25 into 10 to the power 18 number of electrons provide 1 coulomb of charge. Question number 44. An audio amplifier with power out of 100 milliwatt is cascaded with a power amplifier of gain 10 dB. What will be the output power? Option A, 100 milliwatt. Option B, 200 milliwatt. Option C, 1 watt. Option D, 10 watt. Power gain is given as 10 P out divided by P in. Power out divided by power in dB. So gain 10 log, this is wrong. It is wrong. It is 10 log to the base 10 P out divided by P in, power in dB. This is the equation for power gain in dB. Now on our question, the gain he has given us 10 log 10. Power in he has given us 100 milliwatt. 100 milliwatt. If we consider 1000, so we know this much. So if we consider power out as 1000 milliwatt, what happens? So I'll put here 1000 milliwatt. So it is 10. So what happens? 10 log 10 equal log 10 of 10. So it is log 10 equal to 1 to the base 10. So the answer is 10. So our LHS and RHS are same. So for this question, the answer is 1000 milliwatt. So we will see the options in the question. For question number 44, whatever the answer we got is 1000 milliwatt, but in the option 1000 milliwatt is not there, but 1000 with the 1 watt is there. The 1 watt equal to 1000 milliwatt. So the answer is option C, 1 watt. So we'll go to the next question. Question number 45. Find the inductance of a coil of 100 turns wound on a hollow cardboard tube of 2 cm long and cross-sectional area 1 cm square. Permeability of air is given as mu naught equal to 4 pi multiplied by 10 to the power minus 7 Weber per ampere turn meter. So we have to calculate the inductance. So inductance for an air core inductor, inductance is given as, for an air core inductor, inductance is given as, inductance represents L equal to 4 pi, that is what our mu naught 10 to the power minus 7 multiplied by A. A is the cross-sectional area of the inductor multiplied by n square is the number of turns. Number of n is the number of turns divided by L. L is the length. Area and L has to be in meters. L equal to, what is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. Area is given in the question as 1 centimeter square, but we need it in meters. So 1, when you convert 1 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 4 meter. N is given as 100. So we need square of 100, that is 100 multiplied by 100 divided by the length of the inductor, that is L is given as 2 centimeter long. 2 centimeter equal to 0.02 meter. So this four zeros, this is equal to 10 to the power 4. This 10 to the power minus 4. These two gets cancels. And we'll be left with 4 pi multiplied by 10 to the power minus 7 multiplied by, in the denominator we have 0.2, so I will multiply denominator and numerator by 100. So this will be 2, this will be multiplied by 100. So here 2 pi, we'll get 2 pi, and these two zeros and this two, here this 10 to the power of 2 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 7. So 2, this becomes 2 pi multiplied by 10 to the power of minus 7 multiplied by 10 to the power 2. This gives, which is equal to 6.28 10 to the power minus 5. So this is the minus 5 Henry. So this is the answer. 6.28 into 10 to the power minus 5 Henry is what the inductance of the given question. So for question number 42, the answer is option A, 6.28 into 10 to the power minus 5 Henry. Here you have to make sure you will take the area in meters and the length also in meters. See, one inductor, if this is the inductor, this inductor will have a diameter. From this dia you can calculate the area, and this is the length. This is the length. So we'll go to the next question. Question number 46. Which among the following are the features of push-pull amplifier? Option A, noise rejection. First point is noise rejection. Second one, can give efficiency of more than 50%. Third point, output may have crossover distortion. Fourth point, output may have harmonic distortion. So which of the following are the features of a push-pull amplifier? This it can give efficiency of more than 50%. This is true. Output may have crossover distortion. That is also true. Output may have harmonic distortion. This is also true. But I am not sure about the noise rejection. So the answer is option D. Option D. 1, 2 and 3. First 3. No, not option D. It is option D saying 1, 2, 3 points. 1, 2, 3. 1 second. Sorry. So this question, which of the following are the features of push-pull amplifier? These three options I am sure about it. These three are correct. But what is there in the option? Option A, 2 and 3 only. 2 and 3, 50%, these two. But this is not there. Option B, 1, 2 and 3. Fourth option is not there, but the output may have harmonic distortion. C, option 1 and 3 only. So second is missing. Output may have crossover distortion. That option is not there. Option D, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the answer is you have to go with the option D only, because these three are sure, but in all options one is coming. So choose the option D. So the answer for the 46th question is option D. Question number 47. AP is arithmetic progression. He has given the three terms 2 minus 2 minus 6. It is going on like that, and he's asking what is the 10th term of the 10th term of the AP. 2 minus 2 minus 6. What is the 10th term? 10th term 10th nth term of AP is A plus n minus 1 into D. So here D, what is D? D is the difference between the two terms, minus 6. If you take two successive terms, minus 6 minus 2, if we take, the answer is minus 4. Minus 4. So D is minus 4 we got. And A has given us 2. A is given us 2. Now what is the, what term he is asking? 10th term. So 10th term, how will represent? I'll write it as n10. What is the A value? 2. N minus 1. N minus 1 is 10 minus, 10th term is asking 10 minus 1. D is minus 4. And D is minus 4. So which equal to 2 plus 9 multiplied by minus 4. What we get? We get 9 fours are 36. So 36. So 2 plus minus 36. We get 2 plus minus 36, which equal to minus 34. So the answer is option C, minus 34. Question number 48. Calculate the capacitance between two metal plates of 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter separated by 1 centimeter thick glass sheet. Permittivity of air is 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12 farad per meter. And relative permittivity of glass is 5. We had to find the capacitance. So we'll see the question. We'll solve. So capacitance is given as A epsilon naught into epsilon R divided by D. Here, so which equals C equals, which equals, what is our A? A is 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter, that is 100 centimeter square. We need it in meters, so 100 into 10 to the power minus 4 meters is the area. Epsilon naught we know 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12. And what is the permeability of, relative permeability of glass? Glass is 5 divided by D. D is 0.01. If we solve this, 10 to the 8.85 multiplied by 5 into 10 to the power minus 12 plus 10 to the power minus 4, 10 to the power minus 16 into 100. So we'll get 10 to the power minus 16, 14 we will get it. Divided by 0.01. So now we have to solve without calculator. So how do you solve it? So we'll just take it as 9. If you round it off to 9, what happens? It is coming to 9. 9 5s are 45. 45 into 10 to the power minus 14, we are getting minus 14. Divided by 0.01. If we multiply both sides by 100, what will we get? We'll get 45 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 12. So we got nearly 45 picofarad, nearly, by rounding of it. Now we'll see the options. So when we solve this question, we got 45 we got 45 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 12 farad we got. This means it is, what is the nearest value? It is 44.2 picofarad. We need it in picofarad. This is in microfarad and this is in nanofarad, this is in farad. So the answer is option A, 44.25 picofarad. Question number 49. What is the total charge of capacitors in the given circuit? The capacitance value and their corresponding voltage ratings are as shown below. 100 volt, 100 volt is the supply voltage, and the capacitor is, whatever the capacitor given here is 10 microfarad 100 volt. This is 15 microfarad 150 volt. This is 25 microfarad 200 volt. We have to find the total charge of capacitors in the given circuit. So we will solve it. So here we have to find what is the total charge carrying by these capacitors. Now Q equal to CV, capacitance voltage. See, these are the capacitor ratings. It is 10 microfarad 100 volt capacitor. This is 15 microfarad 150 volt capacitor, and this is 25 microfarad 200 volt capacitor. What you have to see, but the voltage applied is only 100 volt. The capacitor can charge beyond 100 volt, beyond 100 volt. So we'll find for the first capacitor Q1, what is the charge? It is 10 microfarad, 10 to the power 10 to the power 10 microfarad multiplied by 100 volt. 100 volt. What we will get? We will get uh, this. It will be 1 into 10 to the power minus 3. That is 1 millicoulomb we will get, which is equal to 1 millicoulomb charge. Similarly, Q2 will be 15 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 6 into, see, the voltage is 100 volt only because it cannot go more than 100 volt. So it will be 1.5 millicoulomb. Q3 will be 25 into 10 to the power minus 6 multiplied by 100. So it should come 2.5 millicoulomb. So see, these capacitors are like batteries are connected in parallel. So these all charge will get accumulated. So QT equal to, the total charge equal to 1 millicoulomb plus 1.5 plus 2.5, that is 5 into 10 to the power minus 3 coulomb. So this is the answer, 5 into 10 to the power minus 3 coulombs. So for the question number 49, the answer is option B, 5 millicoulomb. So you are the only thing you have to be careful about is this 100 volt, so that this capacitors can charge up to 100 volt only. We'll go to the today's last question. Question number 50. A JK flip-flop with J equal to K equal to 1 has a 100 kilohertz clock. In the output is, when J and K is connected to 1, this will be in the toggling mode. Whatever the input is there, we'll get the same output. See, whenever we pass, whenever we have a flip-flop, any flip-flop, whenever we pass one signal to this, and when you take out, it will be, if this is the frequency f, what is the input signal frequency is f, and the output will be f by 2. So if we see here, we are here applied 100 kilohertz clock, 100 kilohertz clock. So it should be the half frequency will come out, that will be 50 kilohertz kilohertz. So the answer is option D, 50 kilohertz square wave. This is the answer. So friends, please like and share with your friends, and thanks for watching. So with the part 3, I will update, and within another 2 or 3 days I will update the third part of this question paper. Thank you. Thanks for watching.